Hello good people of YouTube and welcome to my hobby channel, and in this video I wanted to take a quick look at the subject of scale. Those of you who are subscribed to my channel and watch my videos will know that I often like to build models from different manufacturers and then do a scale comparison or a line-up at the end of a video to see what those different models from different manufacturers look like when they're base to base or shoulder to shoulder. I think a lot of you find that useful. It's always interesting to see if parts from different boxes, from different manufacturers or different ranges are compatible with one another. And it's a good way of understanding whether or not you're spending your money in the right direction. Now, I received a comment on a recent video where I did a scale lineup, and it suddenly made me think just how confusing this issue is. This person quite rightly pointed out that 25mm or 28mm is not a scale. It's a measurement, and that a scale is actually technically expressed as a ratio, like 1 to 72nd scale or 1 to 32nd scale or 1 to 48 scale. And that basically means that the model that you have in your hands will fit into the original by however many times the number describes. So a 1 to 72nd scale French artilleryman from Waterloo would fit into the original size artilleryman 72 times. I know that's oversimplifying it a little, but basically that is the concept. And we often see those ratios on box covers like some of the ones I've got in front of me here. Corgi, for example, do World War II tanks at 1 to 50 scale. You can get model aeroplane kits at 1 to 48 scale and 1 to 72nd scale. We've got a Legions Imperialis Thunderhawk gunship there, which is described as epic scale. We've got some Waterloo infantry, 1 to 72nd scale. Airfix also describe it as HO00. So there's lots of terms and phrases bandied around that can be confusing. And then of course there's the Wargames Atlantic, Baron's War, Mounted Knights, which are described as 28mm figures. 28mm refers to the height of the miniature in the same way that 15mm refers to the height of the miniature, or 6mm refers to the height of the miniature. But the confusion doesn't stop there, because it's not a measurement from head to toe, as you might think. For those of you who may be interested, I do explore the topic of scale in my modelling and painting books, both the Modelling and Painting Fantasy Figures book and the Modelling and Painting Science Fiction Miniatures book. There's a whole section in the fantasy book where I look at miniatures that have been produced at different heights, different scales. I talk about scale and the compatibility of miniatures. I talk about scale creep and heroic scale across different hobbies. There are plenty of examples of miniatures at different scales. And here is one of the halflings that I sculpted and painted and photographed for my book. So I dive into this in great detail, and I also produced a scale reference chart, if you like, which lists all the different heights of the miniatures, the scale ratios, popular terms or names or ranges for models in that size or scale, and also how many millimeters per foot are represented by those miniatures or models at that smaller scale. So for example, a miniature that's 6mm in height is often referred to as being a 1 to 300 scale micro armor model, and the scale measurement is 1mm to the foot. There's the sci-fi book with the common scales in sci-fi gaming. It's not a repeat of what's in the fantasy book. It is in addition to what you'd find there. And again, I do, size comparisons and so on. So the definition of scale is something that we could all get bogged down in. That's not something that I'd like to do. I'm not opening a debate here. I'm just trying to explain my take on it, and when I'm talking about scale, why I'm using the definitions that I'm using and what they mean to me, so that hopefully when you're watching my videos, it'll all make sense to you and we can understand each other. Every miniature manufacturer, everyone who's buying into the hobby and looking to build an army needs a starting point, a reference point. And the general consensus over the years has been that whatever scale you're modeling in, if the measurement refers to a height, it refers to the height of an average generic 6-foot humanoid. So in the case of these Perry archers here, which are two beautiful miniatures, some of my favorites from Games Workshop, they're old Bretonian archers, classic plastic archers. If you're describing these as being 28mm in height, that refers to the height from the soles of the feet to the center of the eye line. Confusing, I know. It's not the height of the miniature. The height of the miniature would be slightly more. It might be 30mm, might be 32mm. But when manufacturers sculpt 28mm miniatures and they put them into production, the general consensus of opinion, the general starting point is 28mm from the soles of the feet to the middle of the eye line. The height of the model can be different because it could be a wizard in a tall hat. It could be someone with a bald head. So you measure from the eye line down to the soles of the feet. Now I will refer to a miniature that is 28mm in height as being 28mm in scale. This archer is 28mm in height, only it isn't, as I've just explained. This orc archer is also a 28mm miniature, but it's not 28mm in height. This Reaper Bones ogre mammoth creature is also 28mm. So we all need a way to describe the scale of these different models, none of which are 28mm in height. We don't refer to them as 1/48 scale or 1:50 scale or 1/56 scale. Again, these are ratios that are bandied around all over the place and it can get very messy. And these three miniatures alone illustrate the problem. This is a 28mm ogre mammoth from Reaper. Can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a Reaper Mini, Reaper Bones, and it is 100mm in height from the soles of the feet to the center of the eye line. Now, if you're a historical wargamer, concepts like that don't really matter. You can talk about your 28mm army as being 28mm in height because your entire army is made up of representations of men who are roughly 6 foot tall. It's an arbitrary figure, I know, and you fight with men in units, men riding horses, men in wagons or armored fighting vehicles, or men in aeroplanes. And it doesn't really make a difference because your entire army is made up of men. But when you've got fantasy miniatures that are all sculpted and produced to fit in around the scale of a 28mm tall human, who, as I've said, isn't actually 28mm tall, it can get very complicated. And that is why when I do my scale comparisons, I will refer to them as being 28mm scale, because some of them, as I've just demonstrated, won't actually be 28mm in height. A very short video, I know, and probably an oversimplification of the topic, but I just felt it was important to clarify that. I hope you found this really brief video useful. If you have, please smash that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. But please keep those comments kind and respectful. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.